Welcome to channel AMEC, your insight to the Australian visa system. Good day everyone, my name is Carl Young, your online YouTube visa consultant. Are you interested about migrate to Australia? Why don't you consider to subscribe to my channel and turn on the bell on the side. So once we have all the updates and news, you'll be the first one getting all the insight. Now today's video is about employment sponsor visa. So I'm trying to cover all type of different visa in my channel and go through with different insight, media, news, and also obviously the release of information and criteria and visa details, so that you will have full coverage of all type of visa just in this channel. So if you really like it, why not give us a thumbs up and share with other friends. All right, talking about working visas now. Obviously, working visa is very vital. It's one of the key for a lot of countries' economy. Now, obviously, to boost skill migration, one way that we have been talking about in this channel for a long time, employment sponsored visa is also a type of skill visa as well. Despite of getting a nomination or invitation from a state of government, the employment sponsored visa, obviously, you need an employer. Now, the employer has to be an Australian-based company or business, and they're willing to directly employ you, and then you obviously get a visa and there's a pathway to permanent residency. However, it may sound easy, but over the past 10 years, the former government has made it very hard. They replaced the so-called 457 visa to 482. Despite of trying to, well, back then they said it got streamlined, but they actually make it harder and harder, and a lot more payment required from employer. So the category of employment sponsor visa has not really been utilized much in the past 10 years. However, we have a new government, newly elected government back in May 2022. The Labour government is obviously looking for something change to help the economy of Australia, obviously in this post-pandemic era. Now let's have a look at this news. Just released yesterday, I believe. Yeah, yesterday. Okay. Sydney Morning Herald. Now this, I think there has been a stakeholder and business leaders been talking about this in the past, but yesterday it just came out. So I'd like to raise this, also obviously talking about how the employment sponsor visa, how important it is. I do recall back 10 years ago, the 457, the employment sponsor visa, has been widely used by a lot of employers around the countries, talking about agriculture, industry, commercial, business, hospitality, you name it, whatever it is. As long as you need and you want to sponsor the people stays, work, and they have pathway to permanent resident. It was a great and brilliant idea. However, the former government said that it has been abused. There has been too many people utilizing that to migrate to Australia. Well, migrating to Australia by working, why not? You know, what's wrong with that? But anyway, that was the topic back then. Now I think we're in 2023. It's a whole different ball game now. Now, the title says scrap skill job list for high earners. Employers said they raise for talent. Now, obviously, what sort of ratio are we talking about for high earners? They are basically calling out the idea that where's the amount of the earning down here somewhere. I think it was 7. Oh, here we go. It's currently, so the council recommended that the skill visa minimum salary range of full time to be 92,000 per annum. And if you have that kind of earning, that I think that's what they're trying to say, that you don't need to elect an occupation through your whatever the occupation that you're looking to go in, because I'm pretty for this idea. Why? To be honest, I've seen many talented people. They are in their career, they probably has not been in one occupation at all. And in 2023 is actually the people with talents, they actually cross industry. Now these kind of people is actually more talented, sometimes a lot more talented than people who are in just one specific profession. Now I do believe a lot of viewers will agree with me. Now for those people who are cross profession, if they go through the traditional skill assessment, they will get nothing. That means they cannot even get employment sponsor because they cannot even select an occupation to be elected in through the whole criteria. So I think giving this idea out is actually great. So let's have a read about this article. It says employer wants a job list to decide if skilled migrant can come to Australia to scrap the high income earners. So no more requirement. If their annual income is going to be above that 92,000 per annum, then there's no more occupation required to be elected throughout the criteria. Because traditionally for employment sponsor visa, you're required to pick an occupation in order to actually go through the application. Now, as I said, if you pick the occupation, you're required to go through skill assessment. And if you're across different occupation in your career, you probably get nothing out from skill assessments at all, because the skill assessment cannot directly understand which, if you are actually meeting that particular occupation at the point of time. Okay, so the Tech Council Chief Executive Kate Pounder said that the job such as data science, cybersecurity expert has only recently added to skill in some of the last 12 months. It's an experience shortage, not a labor shortage. And that's exactly right. If you're in the tech sector, there are a lot of new occupation coming out every year. Now, what about the big data scientists or profession? Or what about if we come out with a metaverse specialist? Now that obviously is not in the occupation list. So what do we, so this kind of things, I think I'm pretty welcome on this one. The review examines how streamlined visa system, but it will not cover offshore processing and Operation Sovereign Border. The interim report expected to hand government by February. That we have talked about that in the most recent video as well. Australian employment rate has been on the 40-year low, and that is very good but very bad because the skill shortage is still there, despite that they have put up 195,000 per migrant into the country. But there's also a key here, because the pace of the government, can they actually produce 195,000 by 30th of June 2023? That is still a question mark, because they need to account the backlog that they have, and they said that they're gonna clear that all out by April. Now, if it's going to be by April, you've got 2 months to go in order to meet that 195,000 by 30th of June. So I don't know if they're going to get that done or not. Hopefully they do. Just make granting visa quicker, and then you don't just, well, anyway, that's not something I can actually do anything. Okay. Now, they say that if you become one of the slowest Western economy to process those visas, by definition, it's starting very much from behind. So again, it's a race of talent. Now, obviously, there's also here with the article saying about 70,000, but that's just a key indicator that has been recommended by different business groups. So, Grattan Institute Economic Policy Program Director Brendan Coates said the system was slow and cumbersome due to part of having different occupation lists. The list is based on the ENSCO from the Bureau of Statistics, and it's looking to review and mirror just to make it quicker. And I'm pretty welcome on this one, because selecting an occupation is not a problem, but once you select an occupation, they need to assess whether or not you actually meet that occupation's professionalism or whatever the work experiences. And going through those skill assessment, it's time consuming. Now the employer wants people to come to work. If they can, for my recent experience on the employment sponsor visa subclass 186, it took about 7 to 8 months. Now, how on earth an employer will actually wait for someone to work after 6 or 7 months? And how on earth will an employee to agree to work while you know that your work is coming probably next year? Of course, it's not going to work. So I think this is very good. So they coined an idea about 92,000. Now, a lot of people also compare this to actually GTI's requirement of up to 160,000. I think that's a little bit different than the traditional employment sponsor visa, but that's attracting the high global talented, tech-related people there. Now, last but not least, let's just go through this last page. The Grattan Institute said that the occupation list should be replaced with the wage threshold recommended minimum 70,000. So 70,000 is to replace the minimum of the current, I think was 50 something thousand. So that is, I'm also welcome that one because the inflation and all the things. Now, last but not least, let's have a look at this. I always refer back to the migration planning level that they have done by the immigration back in October. Why do I go back to this one? Because if we look at this, it will scroll over a bit, you will see that employment sponsor, they were planning for 35,000. Now I really doubt they can actually meet that planning level, because the complexity of the current employment sponsor visa, you cannot go through all the cycles of employment sponsorship approval, nomination, skill applications. It's just too timely. It's not streamlined enough. So I'm very welcome in the way. So if they can actually make a streamline without picking an occupation list for employment sponsor visa, if the person that you sponsor has an annual salary above 92,000, then we go through those kind of things, then I think you will meet 35,000 easily. Now, I doubt they can actually meet that requirement, and you can see that's actually the highest planning level and a quota given out within the skill sector visas. But has it been working like that? I doubt. Anyway, that's for the video of the day. Just let you to digest a little bit. Now, when would that change coming? February. So looking forward to it. One more month to go. If you have more question, query, more than welcome to leave comment right down below. I'll see you next video. Goodbye.